God Was Lamb here again. Made a video last night, but Grant needs to make another video because he had a load of, he wakes up with a load of thoughts in his head. So God Was Lamb made a video yesterday talking about the Son of Destruction and how the different translations of the Bible, so it's Second Thessalonians, mostly chapter 2, and it talks about the man of lawlessness. People think it's the Antichrist. Yeah, and Grant was talking about sex magic and how in tarot, in magic, and it's not just tarot, this is how magic actually works in this world. This is how the world does it. This is how the magic works, because the anus, the sphincter, is considered the star, the moon, and the sun. Because the sun's the star. Yeah? Get it? And that's how the third eye, if you don't know how to pronounce third, you would say turd. Yeah? Freemasonry. It's all about evil sex magic. Okay? And this is why the world's gone anal sex mad. Okay? And bondage. Oh yeah, don't forget that bit. But that's the thing, right? So, the anus it's spelled A-N-U-S. Okay? So, it's like, Jesus. Yeah, you could say Jesus is called G's because us has a particular meaning. This is Grant Salvin. Okay? If Grant says, grant us, a lot of people say that. God grant us. God grant us. Grant. What is it people are really saying when people say, God grant us? Are they saying, God, please give us something? Or are they saying that they are God grant? Is that what they're saying? This is the thing, God blesses those who love him. Yeah, that's, he allows those who love him to be blessed. But those who don't, and that's the thing, everyone draws on God's power. Everyone does. And that, what is the end of the world going to be? People are like, okay, so when Jesus comes back, what's going to happen? Well, this is the thing. God's just going to stop people from drawing on his power. And, it's like, you think of a mobile phone, right? For instance, you have to plug them into a wall. You have to charge them. You have to charge them off the electrical grid, right? Without any power, then they're totally useless. They're nothing more than a paperweight, basically. That's how people are going to be. Pretty much. I mean, just think of it like that. There'll be no power. People will be like, people will be fucking crawling along the ground outside, like, please God help me. Yeah, they will. That's gonna be hell for them. They're gonna be, they're gonna have an identity crisis. That's what they're gonna have. You think about it. Adam and Eve, what did they do? They wanted to be like God. They wanted to be God. They wanted knowledge of good and evil. Okay, so, that's how it's described. It's a magic story. Words have power, It doesn't tell you everything. I mean, that's the thing, right? God is God. God can do what he wants to do. God has proven that he loves, that he is a loving creator. And it's not for, his children cannot tell him what to do, and they cannot try to replace God either. But that's what they do. That's what this is what everyone's doing. This is the world. It's the story of Adam and Eve. God is in this world, and it's like the entire world is like, it's like a giant hall of mirrors. You know, it's like God's the only one here. Everyone else is like a freaking warped reflection. You know, people act like possessed, evil possessed robots. You know, they act, you know, they behave very mechanically. You know, there's no real love in them. There's, you know, it's like, you know, it's like the difference between, you know, so, you know, if you're sitting on the other side, you're watching, you know, you're watching Grant do this video, right? You can hear with your ears, but you're not here, are you? You're not here. No, you're not. But because people act in a mechanical, robotic, demon-possessed mindset, that's how they actually behave. They actually, you know, that's the thing. You know, it's very mechanical. You know, it's the same word essentially, here and here. You know, and you know that's how that's where the witchcraft takes place, in that grey area of, you know, is it, you know, what was the meaning of that word? You know, what are we talking about here? Because people don't really understand how the spirit realm works and how magic works. You know, okay, so have a think about this, right? So what is sorcery? You know, what is source? You know, what is the source of all things? God. Okay, and you know, people call it sorcery. You know, Mary, yeah? Mary had a little lamb, yeah? The evil witch, the evil bitch, the whorery of Babylon. You know, people worship her like she's God more than anybody else. You know, she's like number one apparently in this world. Yes, because she's literally the earth, the dirt, the soil. That's who she is. She is materialistic stuff. That's what she is. God so loved the world, but the world did not love God. And that's how it is. And so you've basically got the vast majority of the world worshipping the world, and you know, and that's what they do. You know, they would rather worship their evil mother instead of their loving father. And that's how it's gone, basically. Anyway, Grant wanted to make a video today, specifically because he had some ideas. He's actually got a new Bible coming today, which is the C.S. Lewis Bible. Yeah, had to put his name right in front of the word Bible there. Yeah, interesting that. Well, Grant's dad, biological dad, who, you know, basically never ever spent any time with ever, really, except when he was a very little kid, because yeah, he was, you know, he was a gambler. Grant's parents got divorced, and Grant's dad basically just ran away, pretty much. You know, he's a guy who's got really long hair, you know, big beard, and you know, he's definitely, you know, he's like tall, skinny, you know, definitely got that sort of, you know, Jesus look to him. Yeah, and you know, he was doing witchcraft. You know, there's a picture of Grant when he was a tiny little baby, and his dad's wearing, you know, like a pentagram on it, you know, and you guys, you know, got obviously into, you know, witchcraft. Not only that, you know, when Grant saw his dad when he was like 17, his dad gave him a book, which was Angela's Ashes, and he also gave Grant his horoscope. He had a personalized horoscope that he had done for him when he was a baby. And then, you know, but that shit's witchcraft. That's what it is. You know, that guy's trying to mess with Grant's life. You know, that's what he's doing. He doesn't even, whether he is consciously aware of what he's done or not. But the guy's been, you know, yeah, the guy's cursed. He really is. Evil. Anyway. CS are the initials of Grant's dad, Charlie Salvin. Charles Salvin. Yeah, and Grant also has the same birthday as King Charles III. Yeah. Anyway, so Grant's getting the C.S. Lewis Bible. Yeah. Lewis. You know what a loo is, yeah? You know, where someone goes to take a shit. Yeah. You know, we've talked about holes and holy and turd eyes, and, you know, people just write it off as totally ridiculous. They're like, no, nah. The truth is really, but the truth is ugly. The truth is, well, that's the truth. You know, the truth is that, you know, like, it's where, you know, witchcraft is an ugly thing. It is. It's dark. It's evil. That's what it is, right? You know, we're talking about sorcery, okay? So, and you know, look, God is the source. You know, the fact that people call it sorcery, no, it's got nothing to do with that. That bitch is an evil witch who wants to steal what belongs to God. God is the source of all things. He created everything. But Mary, she wanted to be considered the source of all things, the God of the universe. She's nothing but crap. She's literally just material. Like, look at anything that's physical, you know, like a lump of shit, or, you know, a wooden desk, or, you know, a lump of metal, or something like that. That's why God said, do not worship idols made of wood and stone or whatever, you know, because you're literally worshipping something that is physical. Okay? God and Jesus specifically mentioned, you know, be of the Spirit. You know, if you die and then you find yourself living as a lump of shit, yeah, or you're like a stone or a rock, or you're, you're a freaking, do you know what I mean? Like, who wants, like a glass bottle or something, or, a coffee mug or something, you know what I mean? Do you want to be that when you're dead? You want to be you want to be a ceramic plate, or, a metal fork or something like that, or, like, or a plastic bottle, or, fucking, a garbage can, like, is that what you want to be when you're dead? Because that's essentially, if you are of the materialistic world, if that is your, yeah, because, you have the spiritual side, okay, and then you have the physical side, the materialistic side, and that's, that's kind of that's how it gets divided. And this is the thing, Grant has explained that Satan is God's earth. That's where the soil vacates the body, right? And so, and that's, obviously, God has to take a shit, and obviously he doesn't take it with him, he fucking leaves it wherever it fucking comes out, right? Or it gets flushed down and goes off to the sea. You know what I mean? And then all the witchcraft takes place, and Satan does, the evil ones, the accusers. Yeah, the ones who are attacking God use that as a weapon against God. Because, that's how, God, when God's in a physical body, when his spirit is entered into a physical body, that's how the evil ones, it becomes a battleground between spirit and the flesh and the dirt, essentially. Why did Jesus fast for 40 days? Why was he so, about conquering the flesh? It's magic. It works like magic. It's, I mean, even the word magic. Yeah. Yeah. Ma. So her name seems to, her name always seems to crop up, doesn't it? Yeah. Weird that, huh? She's always slithering her way in somehow. Bitch. Anyway, what was Grant going to talk about? Oh, yeah. So Grant saw on the news this morning, it's saying in Switzerland, you see how Grant got his new Omega watch, spent £5,600 on it. Bought it literally like on the 19th of June. And Grant's noticed there's flooding happening in Switzerland, okay? And it reminded Grant of what happened when he bought his last watch. See, Grant doesn't normally wear watches anymore. He hasn't worn watches very often. But Grant bought a watch. He bought a Casio watch. When was it? It was... Oh, let Grant just have a quick search, because it was a while back. Hang on. Grant hasn't got this. Yeah. Anyway, look, it says here, Casio. So it says, ordered on the 23rd of September, 2023. And Grant remembers what happened back then. Because, Grant ordered it. He said, okay, it's a cheap watch. Grant hasn't worn a watch for years, so he ordered this. Alright? Do you want to have a look? Oh, go on. Oh, shit. Yeah, there you go. Look, can you see? Can you see that? Maybe you can see that. Anyway, look. Whatever. Place is a bit of a mess. Anyway, whatever. The Casio watch. Okay, so Grant ordered that, and for some bizarre reason, when it was getting shipped, it took ages, and then it said it was going through New York. That was the one of the travel destinations that it went on. It went through New York, and I was like, what the fuck's it doing in New York? And there was huge flooding in New York at the time. And so there was huge floods happening in New York at the time. It was all over the news. And Cassie Ventura left Sean P. Diddy Combs. That was the time when they broke up. You can go check all the dates for yourself. Grant doesn't need to because he remembers it. But this is the thing. I mean, the story in the book of Revelation. You have the dragon, and you got the dragon, right? And he spews out of his mouth, water after the woman, and the earth swallows up the water. This is God, and God just wants to, to be recognized and his voice heard. What is water? Well, it's, it's, do you know what I mean? Like, what would happen if you didn't have any water? Well, you just die of dehydration. Water, you have to, water is important for life. You can go for a month without food easily. But if you went a month without water, you wouldn't last more than a couple of days. You'd be dead. So, well, yeah, very likely. So, water is, and it cleanses, and it has to do with emotions. And magic is about, is an emotional, emotions tend to be, it's connected with, emotional and intelligence and stuff like that, right? Anyway, Grant buys a watch, flooding happens, floods and floods and floods. Yeah. Weird, huh? Weird. Well, that's the thing, it's a watch, and then, Grant has to watch it on the screen. It's like, oh, right, yeah. It's the same fucking word. Watch and watch. Yeah. You've been watched by a bunch of demons. No. What are you watching today, What crap did you manage to find on Netflix to watch? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, watch is a very interesting word. I mean, you think about Jehovah's Jehovah's Witnesses, the group of people who call themselves Jehovah's Witnesses, and they have this, belief about the watchtower. Yeah, the watchtower. Yeah. They think like Jesus has already come back and now he's part of some like watchtower organization or something or whatever. Strange coincidence, huh? Anyway, if you want to know the specifics, go look for yourself. Anyway, what else did Grant want to mention? That's the thing. Grant's connected to these things. There are tons of examples. Look what happened to Turkey. When there was the earthquake, it killed 50,000 people. This was right after Christmas. Grant he didn't celebrate Christmas with anybody. Nobody. And that's the thing, right? Grant didn't eat any turkey. He didn't have any Christmas decorations, nothing. He just forgot the whole thing. And you know what everyone else is doing? Yeah, they're all sitting around their table with their family and their friends. And what do? They have a stuffed turkey. Yeah, they have a sage. You know what a sage is, right? You've got your sage and onion, Onion can be, a word used for arse, Like, oh, her ass looks like an onion, makes my eyes water. You ever seen that? No, well, whatever. Sage and onion stuffing. And, if you're Scottish, like Grant is, Scottish people tend to use Scottish stuffing. But anyway, turkey with stuffing. Yeah? So everyone's eating their turkey with their stuffing. Yeah? They've got to stuff it inside. Yeah. And they devour it, yeah, for Christmas. Yeah. And then, because Grant did not eat any. He didn't have any. So what happened with turkey was, that thing happened. Turkey got stuffed, basically. And Grant was forced to watch it all on computer screen. Yeah. It's because it's all about... See, what happens is it's all about balancing the world is trying to balance out these things, because Grant didn't do that thing. It had to, happen. And so that, Grant would be, all this magic starts coming towards him, like, oh, look, turkey got stuffed, news articles, videos, this, that, and the other. And then, it evens out what's happened between, and this is how the magic works. There has to be this cause and effect, and it's complicated. It's very complicated, but this shit happens all the time. All the time. And the world, it's very easy for people to say, no, we don't see that. Grant, you're crazy. It's very easy for anyone to say that. Yeah. But it doesn't change the situation. This is the one who can destroy everything. Yeah. This is the one who can give life, and this is the one who can destroy without even lifting a finger. Pretty much. Can literally just sit here and yap, and literally you're going to have earthquakes, tsunamis, hurricanes, disease, death, massacres, wars, poverty, all that stuff. Oh, let's talk about what happened with Grant's Cambridge Bibles. So Grant ordered some Cambridge Bibles probably about 2 weeks ago. Probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago. So Cambridge Bibles, 4 of them, okay? So it was about £500 or £600 worth of Cambridge Bibles. And Grant ordered them, and he made a specific request for one of them. There was an Aquila. It's the wide margin Bible, and you get a version of the box which has Aquila on it, which is like a constellation in this, like a star constellation. And Grant specifically said, like, to the bookstore, like, it's like a third party, it's a merchant on Amazon, right? And basically just messaged them saying, look, can we, Grant wants the one with the box that's got Aquila on it, because it's the star constellation. It's just like an eagle, yeah. So Grant specifically, anyway, what happened was the order, they said they would do that, and Grant thought, okay, it's going to happen. And then on the day they were supposed to be delivered, Grant noticed that they'd been delayed. It says not dispatched yet, delayed. And Grant checked his emails today to find out that Cambridge Bibles had they got hacked. They've been having cybersecurity issues. This might be the same time as it was a London hospital that got hacked very recently. It seems they probably Grant used to work for the NHS. It's actually interesting because Grant got his first Bible delivered. Well, it was one of Grant's first Bibles. Yeah, he got one delivered to the NHS into his office, and it got opened by a guy called Joe Lambert. A guy Grant used to work with, a guy called Joe Lambert. And he was like, oh, sorry, Grant, accidentally opened your package there. I was like, oh, yeah, thanks. Yeah. Anyway, interesting, huh? That was years, that was like 2016, probably, ages ago. And, Grant was obviously making the point about Cambridge Bibles, and you had Ian McKellen, who was, he was at that Player Kings play, and he was playing a character called Falstaff, and he fell off the stage, and he went to hospital, and, the point that, he played Gandalf in Lord of the Rings, and, that scene, the really famous scene, between Balrog and Gandalf on the bridge, and he goes, you shall not pass, and he destroys the bridge, and then they go down. Yeah, and Grant was explaining in previous videos, like, why this is really interesting stuff to understand, and, like, what's going, trying to piece together, like, what's happened here. It's magic. It's witchcraft. God is slowly but surely pulling his energy back to him. All these people who've made a big name for themselves. What they've done is they've taken lots of God's power, for themselves, because what they do is because they're surrounded by foul spirits, right? The serpent speaks to them in their ear, and they do this. They build their, they constantly try to acquire God's power, bit by bit, by bit, by bit, by bit, by acting like, clones, or, like copying, mimicking, what it is that you think about it, it's like, it's almost like, yeah, well, it's like, yeah, it's, God basically has all these false, he has to contend with all these people who are trying to copy him, who want to be him. And that's the thing, there's a war going on in the spiritual realm. It's like, which one's good? Is it this guy? Is it that guy? Is it, who is it? And so there's, and there's the evil ones and there's good ones, there's the good spirits that know who God is. And then there's all the other evil ones who are like, no, he's not God, it's this guy, or it's that guy. Let's keep playing this stupid fucking game until we all have to burn in hell, y'all. That's what's going on. And so God is, learning about how to, pull it all back. And what's going to happen? People are going to have disasters and, chaos, earthquakes, tsunamis, disease, poverty, massacres, scandals, pain and misery and suffering for people because they didn't love God and they're just trying to take God's power from him, and God is going to snatch it back. And, it's going to happen, and they're not even going to know what's happened. They're going to be like, what the fuck happened? Don't know. Like, why is everything gone crazy? Why is everything turned into a complete disaster? Like, why? This doesn't make sense. Like, this can't be a coincidence because there's so many bad things happening all at once. It's like, what's going on? Like, could you find the answer in the science textbook, do you think? Maybe have a look. Maybe not. Maybe stop being such a fucking stupid robot. Vampire little robot bitch. Yeah? Maybe just try, thinking, oh yeah, maybe God wants to communicate. Maybe God isn't happy with people. Ever think about that? No? Anyway. Is there anything else Grant could talk about today? Yeah, so Grant wants to get those Bibles, but Grant's going to have to do it. Well, Grant will probably do another. Grant will probably do another order. There's several Bibles. Grant needs to order, and Grant's got one coming today, and there's number 3 coming in probably about a week. So Grant's gonna have a huge stack of Bibles. See, all kinds of Bibles, and yeah. What else can we talk about? Yeah, when the war happened, when it started with Russia, Grant posted about it on his Facebook page, literally weeks before it all kicked off. Yeah, Grant literally said, because there was obviously, there were obviously discussions back then about what was going on, and Grant was like, yeah, Ukraine are, well, that's the thing. Ukraine were they walked straight into it, really, because they wanted to join the EU. I mean, that's a terrible idea. Like, do you know what I mean? If you're going to join the EU, I mean, is it really any better than joining Russia? Is it any better? Really? What's the difference? The name? But, and it was a terrible idea. Ukraine want to join NATO and they want to be part of the European Union. And, Vladimir Putin was like, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. And that's what they did. And, yeah, and, people are, you got lots of, people who have to suffer because of what their leaders choose to do. Yeah. And people worship their leaders, don't they? They're like, oh, our leader's the best, we voted for them and all that shit. Blah, 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 blah. They're the best. Who needs God anyway? It's quite a common thing, though, isn't it? Anyway, yeah. Anyway, Grant just thought he'd make a quick video about that. Yeah. Is there anything else Grant wants to talk about? Let's have a quick look at the news. Oh yeah, Taylor Swift playing in London. You know, you got Prince William and the kids. Everyone's worshipping that whore. Yeah, she's a total bitch. She's a very evil witch, but people love her. They're like, wow, she's so amazing, y'all. Her music's crap. Grant can't stand her. You know, it's like, awful shit. She's a total whore. You know, and that's the thing, right? What does she stand for, really? She's a witch. She's a total witch, wanting to steal God's power. You know, this is really all she's about. She wants to be the superstar. Yeah, you know, walks around on stage like in an outfit that makes her look like she's the sun, like she's like this star that's on fire. You know, and all the light is coming from her. You know, like seriously. I mean, Grant's seen the pictures in the news. You know, months and months and months ago, whenever that was. But that's that's what what she stand for. Well, being a whore. You know, matriarchal. You know, she's all for. Yeah, she's totally on that side of the thing. You know, that's what she's all about, and people worship her, and I think, wow, yeah, she's an evil bitch who doesn't love. Plain simple. She's just a stupid whore, looking for money and power and fame, and people worship her for it. What more do you want? Yeah. Yeah, oh yeah, and there's that guy, that young man who went missing in Tenerife called Jay Slater. You know, he cut his leg or his foot or something like that on a cactus, which is interesting because Grant was watching Better Call Saul, the on Netflix. It's literally like Grant barely watches anything on Netflix, but Grant watched that, right? And there's a scene in there, isn't there? There is a scene somewhere. Was it that one? Was it like someone gets like kicks a cactus or something like that, or something, and the spike gets stuck in their big toe, and the guy has to pull it out. Was it Better Call Saul? Well, Grant was watching it on some video the other day. Isn't it strange? Like Grant watches that on his computer screen, and then the next thing you know, a guy in Tenerife, you know, he cut his leg on a cactus, and he's gone missing, and he's dead now. You know what I mean, or whatever's happened to him. Yeah, the witches do their things. You know, the evil demons. It's all about stealing power from God. That's all it is. All it is the world reflecting. Reflect. You know, and what happens is the spirits, you know, they're all like, you know, you got spirits that basically, you know, and the demons are like, oh, which one's God? Is it that one? Is it this? Is it that? Is it this reflection? Is it that reflection? Or is it this? Is it this guy? That's all that's happening. That's all that's ever happening. Is just everyone's fighting for that throne, God's throne. That's what they're trying to do. They all want to sit. All these people. They all want to sit on God's throne. And they're not even conscious of it. But they chose not to love God, and so that's what they chose to do. They don't have to be conscious of what they're doing. They're surrounded by foul spirits that guide them in that direction. They chose to get on that train and go in that direction. Straight day, bitch. Anyway, that'll do for now, huh? That'll do. Laters.